everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In case you guys are new here, hello, welcome. My name is Erin. I love to do all things fiber art related, crochet, knitting, you guys get the drill. But today's going to be a really fun yarn haul, yarn unboxing video. Thank you so much to Universal Yarn for partnering with me on today's video. They sent over a super gorgeous collection of yarn just for me to showcase, review, and talk about here on my channel. As you guys can see, I have a bunch of really gorgeous, colorful yarn sitting here on top. But as I mentioned, the rest of this box is from their spring 2023 release. So these are the colors that they've sent over for me. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out one by one so that I can respectfully talk about each of them individually. Now, the very first yarn that I have to show off to you guys is Universal Yarn's Easel line. Now, this is what she looks like nice and up close. This is labeled as a fingering weight yarn, and I believe that this has 75% superwash wool and 25% polyamide. Now, I love when polyamide is mixed in because although superwash is really great at keeping you warm and comfy and cozy, having that extra little bit of polyamide in there is going to give it a little bit more durability. So again, right off the bat, this being a fingering weight yarn, I think this would be really, really great to make socks out of and even shawls. This is what the colorway of Easel looks like. Now, as you guys can see, there is a slight bit of self-striping that runs throughout this skein, but on top of that, there are sections that have just a little bit of speckling or patterning throughout them. So I believe that when you guys knit with this, it does create somewhat of a faux Fair Isle pattern, which is really unique and interesting to find in a skein of yarn. I don't typically come across yarns like that in store. So right off the bat, this is gonna be a really unique, one-of-a-kind find on Universal's website. It's gonna be a really great example of a trans-seasonal type of fiber that you guys could really wear almost throughout any time of the year. So again, with this having super wash wool and the polyamide mixed in, it's gonna be really, really great for when it's a little bit warmer outside during the spring months, but then as it gets a little bit chilly at night, the superwash wool is gonna keep you nice and comfy and cozy warm. I also do want to note that there is ever so slightly just a little bit of fuzzing or halo to this yarn. It is very, very subtle, but it does add a really nice, comfortably soft like fuzziness to this yarn. So depending on if you guys want to knit or crochet with it, you will get a very interesting and unique type of garment. The next line that I have to show you guys is Universal Yarn's Philly line. I can already tell that this fiber has a little bit of cotton blended into it, and I love the feel of cotton when it's mixed and blended into my fibers. This is what Philly looks like, and I have to say that this colorway and even this patterning really, really speaks to me. You guys know I love the earth tones. It does have just ever so slightly, just a little bit of texture to the actual fiber itself, which I love. I love when yarn has its own type of like design and texture to it, just because it helps to lend towards an even more textured type of pattern. Now, as I mentioned with Philly, this is another fingering weight yarn, and I believe that this has 46% cotton, 33% fine superwash merino wool, 12% polyamide, and 9% PBT. Now, we just recently learned that PBT is really great when it comes to durability and stretch. So whenever you see PBT mixed into a fiber, just know that that's really going to add to the durability and just the long-term length or life cycle of your garment. This is going to be another really great staple for the multi-seasonal or trans-seasonal months. So again, because this has cotton, it's going to be really lightweight and breathable, but at the same time, having that merino wool mixed in, it's going to keep you comfy, cozy, and warm when it starts to get a little bit chillier at night. So even though this is part of their spring 2023 collection, I would definitely recommend a fiber like this one for almost any time of the year. Honestly, here in Southern California, it doesn't get too cold. So having this really gorgeous blend of cotton and merino wool could even keep me comfy and cozy here in the winter months. As you can see, there are certain sections of this yarn that are a little bit more solid or tonal, but as you start to work up with this yarn, there are other sections that have a really gorgeous blend of multiple colors. So I feel like as you knit or crochet with this, you're gonna have a really gorgeous color gradation or color variation. It's gonna add a little bit more dimension to your project. This is also machine washable and tumble dry on low. So again, if you guys are wearing your projects often, they're getting dirty or musty or what have you, you can definitely wash this often. And with that PBT, it's not going to fray on you. It's not going to fuzz or pill. It's going to last you a really long time. Now, moving on to the next selection, this is Rico Designs Superbe. This is their merino, linen, and silk blend. This Superbe line actually has a very interesting blend of fibers. It has virgin wool, polyamide, silk, and linen all blended and mixed into this one donut of yarn. So if I can show you guys as close as possible, what really caught my eye at first glance with this Superbe line is that this has a really interesting kind of like unprocessed fiber look to it. You guys can see that. To me, the best way to describe this yarn is just unprocessed. It almost looks like it came straight off of the sheep, but don't be fooled. Just because this has virgin wool, this has to be some of the most comfy, cozy virgin wool I've ever felt. And if you guys know me, I'm not the biggest fan of virgin wool yarns, but again, because this has the silk, the linen, and the polyamide blended in, it's very touchably soft. And I feel like besides just making socks with this, again, this really helpful like little diagram does show how the yarn works up. This would also be really gorgeous as a sweater. It's going to be very lightweight and drapey and flowy. But let's just give a second to shout out this color. This colorway is so vibrant and eye-catching, but it's not completely tonal. There are definitely little highlights of a lighter sky blue as well as deeper shades blended in. So this is a really gorgeous option. The next line is a super fun option for the springtime. This is Universal's Cotton Supreme Speckles, and as you can see, there's a really gorgeous just slight bit of speckling that's kind of layered throughout this skein. I love that with this hank, there's not too much speckling going on. So you do see an overall theme of a solid colorway, such as this white creamy base, but there is just ever so slightly the perfect amount of speckling that runs throughout it. And again, that way your project is going to have a little bit more dimension. It's not going to lie too flat. And as I've mentioned with this Cotton Supreme Speckles, this is a number 4 worsted weight yarn. So I know I have a lot of worsted weight yarn fans out there. This is definitely for you. This is a 100% cotton fiber. So again, it's going to be very lightweight and breathable. You're not going to get too sweaty with this bad boy. They have my favorite cotton line that I've ever come across. It is definitely a 10 out of 10 on the softness scale. So if you guys haven't tried out their Cotton Supreme line, definitely give it a go. But as I've said, it's very touchably soft. I could see this worsted weight yarn worked up with so many different garments. Now let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit to this next donut that really caught my eye and definitely speaks to my heart. And you guys know I have really been on the earth tone kick. So right off of the bat, this is screaming my name. And I have to say that this stuff feels unbelievable. As you guys can see, this is another fingering weight yarn, and I almost forgot to mention, this is Universal Yarns Sugar Saki line. Now this Sugar Saki actually has 50% superwash merino wool, 25% bamboo, and 25% nylon. So again, another really great option for the trans-seasonal months when it's cold and warm all in the same day. It almost has somewhat of a slippery, almost a silky feel to it, which is really interesting because if you guys can see up close, there is ever so slightly just a little bit of fuzzy halo to it, and that is definitely due to the superwash wool. I love the feel of this yarn, and I feel like something like this would be really great again in socks, or even if you guys wanted to make some shawls out of this. I cannot believe how well this line feels, and I'm pleasantly surprised to see that the overall creamy color that runs throughout this donut of yarn, it does kind of help to break up the darker tones throughout this colorway. So it's not going to be super harsh stripes. I feel like this is going to lend to a little bit more of a blend of colors. The next line that I have to show you guys is Universal's Zesty sock. Now right off of the bat, this feels almost an exact dupe for the Universal Yarns Easel line. These two feel so comparable. And as I'm looking here at the fiber content, this is 75% superwash merino wool and 25% polyamide. This has the same exact fiber makeup. This has an overall color theme of a very neutral creamy color, but there are just a slight bit of coloring or striping that runs throughout it. This also does have just a little bit of halo or a fluffiness to this. It is very slight, and you can only really see that up close. So with the polyamide mixed in, it's going to be very durable, very stretchy, and long lasting. So as the name suggests, Zesty sock is going to be really great for socks. I think these are going to make for a very long lasting sock in case you guys are wearing them very often or even washing them a ton. I feel like this is going to hold up really well over time. And I do believe that this is also machine washable and dryable. So a really great option for just durable projects all around. So you guys really do have the option when it comes to different designs and patterns for a wool and polyamide mixture. So if you guys want something that is super unique and colorful and just has a lot of textural pattern to it or coloring to it, the Easel is the way to go. But if you guys want a sock option that is a little bit more blended and a little bit more self-striping and neutral, then the Zesty sock is going to be your choice. Coming up here, oh my gosh, coming up here to the very end of my options, this next one is Universal's Bamboo Pop Sock. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like their Pop Sock is one of their most popular yarns on their website, and this stuff feels amazing. This Bamboo Pop Sock has somewhat of a waviness or a crimple effect to just this construction of yarn, which makes this so unique. Again, this is Bamboo Pop Sock. This is a fingering weight yarn, and this is labeled as a 55% bamboo, 37% cotton, and 8% PBT. Again, that PBT is going to be really great for durability and strength of your project, but you can really tell that this definitely has some type of cotton blended in. And as I mentioned, cotton and bamboo is kind of like the ultimate springtime fiber. It's going to allow for a lot of aeration, a lot of breathability, but that bamboo adds just somewhat, again, of that silkiness, so luxurious on the hands, even though it has this textural pattern to it. Look at that waviness, that is so gorgeous. And I feel like this would also look really great in some type of lightweight t-shirt or even a shawl that has a really gorgeous kind of pattern or textural design to it. And this being bamboo and cotton, y'all best believe this is machine washable and dryable. So, and I will note that there is no halo on this bad boy. It's pretty straightforward. Another really great option for the springtime. I'm such a fan of this. I saw they have a bunch of other colorways on their website, and this is something that I definitely want to pick up and possibly even double strand to make a t-shirt out of this. The last little option that I have in my box, look at this tiny little miniature donut. This is a little 25-gram ball of the Rico Design Baby Merino print. Now, this has to be the softest yarn out of the entire collection. I don't know what they did to this, but you guys definitely need to go run and pick up some of this. This is actually made of 100% virgin wool. I have felt virgin wool yarns that are just a little bit rough. They're not the most pleasant yarn to work with and feel, but this 100% virgin wool ball is unlike any yarn I have really touched before. This is a little 25-gram or 100-meter donut little ball of yarn. And I feel like this is a really great option if you guys are on the go and trying to create wherever you are. You can really just kind of pick up 2 or 3 of these little donuts, throw them into your purse or your bag or your backpack, and you're not carrying around huge skeins like this. So really great option for traveling. But let's bring you guys in to show you this colorway. Now it does look to be somewhat speckled. As you can see, there is somewhat of an overall tonal theme of like a light sky, beigey blue. Their baby merino prints are specifically designed for smaller projects. So now that I've gone ahead and covered their spring 2023 collection, the last bit of yarn that I'm so excited to finally get my hands on because I have been dying over this yarn. Thank you, Universal and Aubrey, for picking this out for me and throwing it into my box. This is the Rico Design Creative Melange Chunky. Now, I've had my eye specifically on this colorway because it is absolutely to die for. All three of these balls are all from the same exact colorway, which is why I was screaming over this when I saw it on their website. But to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of information on the Creative Melange Chunky, this is labeled as a number 5 chunky weight yarn, and this is also made up out of 53% virgin wool and 47% acrylic. So this is going to be a really great option for the colder months, such as right now during the winter time. In case I didn't mention, this is the only line or the only fiber that is not part of their spring collection. I believe that this came out several months ago, if not well over a year ago. So many different pops of color. There's so much going on. Deeper or brighter magentas, light pastel peachy shade. You got bright neon yellow, as well as deeper royal blues. It's just a crazy colorful rainbow. But the whole reason why I really wanted to pick out this specific Rico design is because I would love to create either some type of chunky cardigan or sweater using this yarn. Right now it's pretty chilly, kind of rainy, kind of cold. So I felt like a wool and acrylic blend would have been just so perfect for the chilly months. Something I do want to note with this construction is that it looks to be either a single ply or possibly even a double ply of yarn. So I do want to note that when you do have yarn that is a little bit looser constructed like a single ply, you really do want to take very cautious care of your garment when you're washing it and drying it, just because a single ply or double ply can tend to kind of fall apart and fleece on you just a little bit more easy than something that is a 4-ply like the Superbe Merino Linen Silk Blend. It's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for this yarn haul, yarn unboxing video. I'll see you all very, very soon. I love you and goodbye.